Hi, I'm Morgan.
And I'm Jake, and this is
Neverland Navigation Radio.
where we get to hoping and praying and wishing
And thinking.
and a thinking.
What's the song? How does the song go?
I think that was it.
It immediately got in my head.
Yeah, that's what
Except
I was
for
kind
it.
of going for. I think I might have jumbled them around.
Yeah.
But they were all there.
That song was the very beginning of my best friend's wedding, and that was like my favorite movie when I was a kid.
That's really cute.
Yeah.
I like that song.
Yeah, anyway,
we're doing all that for the new year at Walt Disney World, or I guess Disney parks. Did you do other parks or just other?
I think I'm definitely focused on Disney World.
Me too.
Yeah.
We thought this would be a fun episode because it is the new year.
Yeah.
Happy New Year.
Right.
And it's that time where you start looking around at stuff and thinking about changes,
Yes.
What might change this year? What's going to stay? What's going to hang on? We've got a D23 Expo coming up in June, where we're going to have a bunch more announcements for stuff, as always. So there's a lot to look forward to, but we just want to share, a little list of some of the things we're hoping for in the new year as regular park goers.
Yeah, and how do you feel about reflecting on last year as far as Disney World improvements and stuff?
Wow.
I mean, the wall got broke down. The Epcot wall.
Wow.
That really huge because it was up for so long and so ugly.
Yeah, big, and it was right at the end of the year as well.
Yeah, right. So many things happened right at the end of the year. The Hatbox Ghost,
yes,
breaking down the Epcot wall. Moana was pretty late in the year.
Yeah, really everything came toward the end. Tron, summer.
There's spring.
That was our other big one, I would say. A lot happened. It's been kind of I would say a little chaotic of a year, with Disney's political goings on and with the Reedy Creek Improvement District and all of that. That entire situation, I feel like, has kind of been hanging as a cloud over Disney for the past year. But I would say, as far as the parks go, I think the new additions have been much needed and much awaited. So it is kind of nice that we're finally rounding a corner or something.
Yeah, it does feel like we're rounding a corner. And as far as the cloud and the political stuff, I feel like this is an area where I have faith in Disney. Do you have faith in Disney?
So far so good.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right. I don't know. It's one of those companies that
I've
always trusted. So,
right.
So,
I don't remember such scandal. I mean, there was some internal scandal, but such public scandal surrounding a CEO as there was with Bob Chapek.
Right.
So now that we're back to Bob Iger, I feel like the political wayfinding of Disney has gotten much more status quo and stabilized.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Over this last year.
Right. It's been, they're still in the middle of a tumultuous situation.
Yeah.
But their handlings of it have gotten a little bit more even-handed, which I appreciate greatly.
I don't think fixing everything is something that could happen overnight, but I think that a lot of people felt like, oh, Iger's back, everything's gonna get fixed, and then it wasn't fixed the next month, and it's like, well, okay, give him a break. It takes a while. A lot of damage was done.
Yeah, unfortunately, I feel like there is still some damage being done in terms of the park situations with maintaining quality, the crazy increases in the price of park tickets and stuff. I feel like there's a lot going on that is still in need of fixing. But there is some stuff that's coming up. As we get into our list of hopes, there is some stuff that's coming up for sure.
That we know about, yeah.
That we can be glad is happening.
Totally.
I think it's January 9th all of this starts, but
well, this episode will come out right before that. So.
Oh, perfect. Hey, in just about now, any park tickets that are date based are not going to have to make park reservations, which are most theme park tickets that are bought. Um, Annual pass holders, however, are still going to have remnants of the reservation system, and certain people who buy like special group sales tickets or something that are not date based, then you have to make reservations. But for the majority of guests, park reservations are going away. And I think it's my hope to see the rest of the reservations go away at some
Entirely.
point this year as
I was going
well.
to say, I think this kind of was a hope we had last year
Yeah,
for the reservation system to fade out, and
we get
it is
kind
happening.
of,
Yeah.
mostly.
Well, yeah. And even for what's being left, it's much better, right?
Yeah, they've announced that pass holders are also getting something called Good to Go days, where
Yeah.
they just kind of randomly have days where they're able to just get into the park.
Well, they kind of have that now. The bonus
Yeah.
reservation days.
Right.
Yeah.
I think this is kind of taking place of those.
Yeah.
Or expanding
Yeah.
them is probably what they would prefer.
Right. And I bet that list will get better and better. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah. That's what I hope it continues to be open, and then it just kind of fades out.
Or it's just for
stabilizes.
like the days that are going to be really busy.
Yeah.
And then,
I'll take that.
Yeah, and then we would know.
Yeah.
Hey, we need a reservation this day. Maybe we don't plan on doing much.
They
you know what I
should
mean?
send my phone a text that says if you're planning on coming to Disney this week.
Just so you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Anyway, park hopping, right? Is the other one that's going away. Well, not park hopping. That was the worst way I could have said that. Park hopping will return in fall, and you can go to.
You don't have to wait till 2.
You don't have to wait till the time to go to.
You don't have to wait at
another
all.
Park. No, there's no.
Okay.
The second you enter one park, you can hop right to the other park, just the way Mickey intended.
Great.
Right. That's great.
That makes me wonder about virtual queue.
Yeah,
because that's something I'm nervous about.
Right. They can't take away the virtual queues. They're all we have left.
They're all we have left.
Yeah,
that's one of the big. That's like probably my number one hope. I'm keeping mine realistic. I'm not like hoping for a dome over Epcot or anything like that. I mean, I am.
Let me delete that from my list. Hold on.
But I tried to put things that were actually more realistic
Me
for
too.
them. Yeah. So then,
I did a couple wandering ones at the end where, like, well, if out of left field this happens, that would be great. But for the most,
is it kind of doable?
Oh yeah.
Okay. Well,
totally.
Like unlike the dome over Epcot, right?
Right.
Pretty undoable. You think it's doable?
We should do an episode about it.
Okay.
If Epcot got a dome, what would you want it to be like?
Okay. Cool. But I just don't know if pricing, like budget-wise, this is realistic for them.
Well,
but anyway,
somebody's got the money in this man.
Yeah.
Maybe not right. Let's figure out Disney Plus first, I guess.
Yeah.
Then we'll build a dome.
But the virtual queues staying, or another option that's similar to Arrive for like the lines that can get really, really, really long.
Yeah.
I actually, I'm gonna take it a step further and say I hope that they virtual queues or something similar is expanded.
Ooh.
Because they need to have at least one for each park.
Right.
Like, I would love to be able to, whichever park you're starting in, get a virtual queue, or however they're going to do it.
Yeah.
Right now, it's just, you can do virtual queue for Tron and Magic Kingdom, and you can do virtual queue for Guardians of the Galaxy and Epcot. But really, they should still be doing Rise of the Resistance in Hollywood Studios, just to get more people able to do it without losing half their day in a line. I also think that like something like Peter Pan, maybe a rotating schedule, would be nice, because Peter Pan can get to like 4 hours long. It's crazy.
Yeah, I mean,
and Mine Train.
I would totally settle even just for whatever is the most popular ride in each park.
So then it would be Rise of the Resistance, Tron, Guardians, and then the Pandora ride.
Until the next one comes around.
Yeah.
Like how they transitioned from the Remy virtual queue to the Guardians of the Galaxy virtual queue.
Yeah, sure.
I would love to see that model continue, because virtual queues, they have their detractors, people saying it doesn't work for them, they don't understand the technology, it's a lot of steps. That's, that is a commonly held opinion amongst a lot of park
okay, but
goers.
that's, if you don't, it's something you can learn, just like you can learn the app and you can learn how to work Genie Plus. I get it if you're coming from this as I'm just not good at technology, so I can't, then unfortunately, there's a bunch of things that don't work for you, not just virtual queue.
Right.
Genie Plus at all.
But I'm saying despite
Yes.
that, I think having at least one in each park is kind of helpful in the way that Disney has the power to address the line situation, and how nobody wants to wait in a 3-hour line. And if they're going to, take a swing at doing it, then I think it would be cool to see it standardized throughout the park so that you can know what to expect.
Right.
The top ride, I know I'm going to have to get. That's the one that I'm going to have to figure out virtual queue for.
Yeah.
And everything else, you can either go to college and learn how to use Disney Genie Plus, and lightning lanes and all that. I feel like that's a little, honestly, I feel like that might be a little, that's toward the more complicated end of the planning stuff. So I would like to see that simplified a little bit or changed in some way. Obviously, an unrealistic wish would be for Fast Pass Plus to come back, for us to have Max Pass.
I have a yeah, of course, I would love for Fast Pass to come back. That would be like the ultimate dream come true. But we know that's not going to happen. And to be fair, Disney was the last ones to do this. Universal and Busch Gardens, they've been charging for their Fast Passes forever. But a thing that I would love is for either your trip ticket or as a pass holder, like bonus, you got a certain amount of like lightning lanes for free per month.
Yes.
Or a certain amount. Yeah. Like
that would be perfect.
As a thank you. You know what I mean?
That's what we really want.
Yeah. And they could kind of control, if they are wanting, they do sometimes want more people to come on certain days or because they know it's going to be slow. And if they were like, well, this day we're going to give you as a pass holder an extra 3. Yeah, I'm just saying.
I'd be there tomorrow.
Yeah, and I don't necessarily mean like the paid lightning lanes. I'm even like a Genie Plus lane.
Right. A Genie Plus lightning lane. I'll take one.
Yeah.
Why not?
Yes, exactly.
And honestly, as annual pass holders, we need that kind of incentive to ride some of these long wait time rides sometimes. Yeah. Because I think, or even if you're just someone who has gone to Disney multiple times, if you fall into that category of person, I don't know that you're always waiting 3 hours for Rock and Roller Coaster.
that's can be half your day, not half, but such a huge chunk of your day. And then that's bringing down your experience.
Right.
And overall experience that you don't want to remember lines.
Right. I mean, someone unfamiliar with Disney would take that and hear it as such a strange complaint, like to have to wait in a line at a theme park. But something that we talk about a lot on this show is the value and how to maximize the value for how expensive tickets for a theme park have become, trying to make sure that you get the most out of your day. I think that from that standpoint, it's easy to see how if something is 3 hours or more, you're just immediately writing it off of your entire day. So then you lose some real tangible value as a customer. You don't get to ride that thing that you wanted to ride, or you lose 3 hours of your day.
Right. Either way, it's a lose-lose.
Yeah. So if you're frustrated by the line situation, I think you have the right to be frustrated by the line situation.
Yeah.
At the moment. So I hope that,
yes,
those things that you're talking about would be amazing. I think it would go a really long way to feel like we're getting back on track of like being appreciated and having value added at random opportunities, which is what Disney is known for,
Right.
rather than randomly from year to year. What things am I going to lose off of my annual pass this year? Photo pass, my Fast Pass Plus. You know what I mean?
Right.
For
This is something that adds. Right.
Pass holders who is like a very privileged group of people that have the opportunity to visit Disney World all the time just by virtue of proximity is awesome. But like as the most valued or the customers who maybe value the brand the most, it kind of sucks when we lose stuff.
Right. True. So yeah, that was kind of my first one, the virtual queues and the pass holder, and I'm not even just saying pass holder. Maybe it can be something that comes with your stay to a certain amount. But I get that they want to push Genie Plus, so I know that it's hard. So
resort guests, yeah. Sure. Yeah, I know they want to push Disney Genie Plus, and I want to push back because it sucks for a handful of people. But it's super popular. Did you see how crazy the prices of it got over the holidays?
No,
it got to like almost $100.
Really?
For Disney Genie Plus for the day, or maybe it was like $70, but still, it was the highest I'd ever seen it. Like Christmas.
Okay,
or something.
I went to Epcot with my brother and his wife, like 4 or 5 days before Christmas, and I was surprised that it was cheaper than it was when we went last time.
Whoa, that's crazy.
Yeah,
I was seeing some screenshots of some of the.
Was it for individual lightning lanes, or was it for
No, for Disney Genie Plus for the whole day? Isn't that the
with
expensive
a park hopper?
thing?
Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
I mean, it adds up. The hard part is if you get Genie Plus, park hopper, and then the individual lightning lanes at multiple parks, then you're definitely looking at like $100 a person, and that's crazy. But
oof.
Yeah, I can't remember exactly how much it was when we went, but I
hate that.
I know it was $35. And I know we got it for less than that. I know it was $35 the last time we did it, and this time was less.
Nice.
But that was one park, so.
That's lucky.
Yeah.
Okay.
Do you want to name one of your big ones?
That was sure.
Kind of mine, although I'm sure we both kind of had that.
Yeah, the first one that I have on the list that isn't related to those things that we know is going to happen is I hope Communicore Hall is really cool.
Yeah.
It's the last remaining thing to be unveiled in the middle of Epcot.
Uh-huh.
It was weird to me, really weird. Like, I get the inclination because everyone's been waiting so long, and it's a very functional piece of Epcot, so I understand why they wanted to open it. But to have it open and not be done...
Wait, they opened it and it wasn't done?
Well, Communicore Hall isn't done.
Oh, you mean the whole middle of
I mean
Epcot.
the whole middle, yeah.
Yeah.
To open like this chunk of it and like a week before that announced that we didn't finish this in time, it's just very, at this stage after all that we've been through, I'm like, well, I guess that's to be expected. All that we've been through. Just the center of Epcot being walled up, I mean. Yeah. That's all we've been through. There have been walls in the theme park.
Right. And now you're saying there still are because they're still around that one building. But it's a lot less.
I just think it's weird.
Yeah.
That they didn't choose to or try. Maybe they did try.
I don't really have much expectation for this building. Do you?
I don't know. It looks like it's got geodesic sphere, spaceship Earth print on the outside.
Yeah, which is cool.
I guess is cool, but...
Oh, you don't like that?
I do, but I do like the geodesic design. Like, I like
the tie-in.
But we already have Spaceship Earth right there. That's a whole ball of that. And I feel like when they're trying to represent Epcot or Future World, the first thing that they go to now is the geometric print. And I would just like to see more originality in design across the new things, although sometimes they do, and it's really weird. Like in the middle of the new World Celebration area by Dreamer's Point, I'm gonna have to get used to these names of things.
Yeah,
they had these large plumed metal structures that had nothing around them, seem to serve no purpose, um, and were very striking in design and in stark contrast to everything else around them.
Mhm.
And things like that, I it's weird when you see stuff like that 2 feet away from if you asked someone to design an Epcot themed building. I feel like anyone would put the Spaceship Earth stuff.
Yeah, I like the tie-in. Design wise, I like it because it makes that whole area kind of cohesive to me.
I hope they put cool lights on those.
Oh, yeah, and I think they
That would
will,
be
right?
cool. And I like the idea. I hope, and I
Yeah.
like the idea that it's supposed to be a 2-sided stage, right? That's what I heard.
Yeah.
I don't know what that means.
I don't know what that means. That's what I was like, yes, but what really does
to
is
what
that
end?
yeah.
To what end? But I hope it's cool. I hope it's kind of like a big swing, like it's something that would surprise you. You know, that would be nice.
Well, I've got low expectations, not in like just because I haven't really heard much about what they plan to do with this space.
I think festival
right.
presentations and activities.
Yeah, but that doesn't really mean anything to me. They've been doing that in old, dilapidated buildings for so long that like adding a building for this purpose doesn't mean a lot to me.
Well, do you remember do you remember the before times, before the walls were up? On the Fountain View stage, perhaps is what that little stage was called.
I like it.
They would have someone right in front of the Fountain of Nations, behind the Fountain of Nations. They would have someone painting to music or something with Spaceship Earth as the behind them as the backdrop.
Vaguely. I didn't ever stop to see this. You mean during the Festival of Arts, I assume?
Yes, that's during the Festival of the Arts. And
I've seen people singing and stuff there and doing
I've seen that too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not acrobatics, but that show you're talking about. You were talking about on an episode a long time ago, right?
The Christos.
Yes, the Christos.
Wow,
what did they do
about them? They were.
Was it acrobatics?
They were yes, like they were contortionists as well.
Yes.
And
that's the area you're talking about, right?
I am.
Yeah, cool. So they did a lot of stuff, but you didn't know what was going to be there before you got there.
In the 2000s, there were aliens. They were contortionists dressed up as aliens who would come out in Epcot and do a short little routine set to spacey music.
Uh-huh.
That's what we're talking about.
Yes.
Just so everybody knows who are the Christos. But what were we on about now?
This stage. What's
right.
I'm saying I don't really have high expectations for that area because all we know is that they're going to do some stuff there, but we don't really know what.
Right.
And we don't know if it's going to change per festival, if it's going to to be completely honest.
Mm-hmm.
And you can hate on this if you want, but I didn't really stop to watch a lot of that stuff.
No, me neither.
So
it was pretty rare.
So if that's the same thing it's going to be, then that's not going to mean much to me.
That's fair. That's totally fair. I think probably a lot of people are in that same
boat.
But
maybe it's not. Maybe it's going to be better.
I hope. It'll certainly have to draw people in more.
Yeah, right? Because it's not just going to be in the middle of the road, essentially.
That's why I think it's going to be full of colorful lights or something
to
draw people in.
Yeah, and we'll definitely check it out, but
yes.
I mean,
I hope it's really cool.
Yeah.
I hope it's on my list of hopes.
There you go.
I hope it's cool.
Yeah. I hope that whatever shows they're doing are interesting enough you know what I mean, to make us want to stop and see.
Yeah, I can imagine some really cool things for in there.
I can too, but you know how they do little shows at the different countries in World Showcase? And I, as a pass holder, like that.
Yes.
But honestly, there's maybe 20 people watching.
Mm-hmm.
That's not really enough to...
It's not popular.
Yeah.
Right.
So, you know what I mean?
Ooh, I hope it's more than that.
Yeah.
They keep showing DJs in there as well.
Yeah, I don't care about that. They had that at over by Guardians and Mission Space for a while. They had a DJ back then. I don't know if he was there he or she was there all the time, but they've had a DJ out there at a different place, up by the fountains. Yeah. And I'm like, all right.
It's not like they're gonna throw on some cool throwback tunes.
Or that you're gonna be like, well, we've got nothing to do, so let's go dance.
Right.
Because you've got to go get in your 3-hour line.
But if you have a child that needs to burn off some energy, I get it.
I do too.
It's just not
But
us.
are you building a building for that?
I'm not.
That's what I want to know.
not with my bare hands.
Because then why are they building the building? Why not just set up a DJ in the street?
I'm hoping that like the DJ setup is just one of the many options of what could be going on in there.
Yeah. Okay.
Maybe they'll have a DJ in there every night.
I'd love a new show. Like
a
show.
Ooh. Yeah.
I would love a show.
A Future World show?
Yeah.
It would be IP something, I'm sure.
That's fine.
But that's fine.
They could do it. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Wally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They are.
Meet the Robinsons.
They did put Wally and is it Eve or Eva? It doesn't matter.
It doesn't.
It's said differently at 2 different parts in the. Anyway, they did put them.
Let's put up a poll on Instagram.
They did put them as parking places, right?
Oh my gosh, yeah, they did.
So really, they need some representation. We figured it out.
I never thought about that. Why are they there?
Yeah, all of the rest of them have representation.
Yeah, it's like Moana,
and they've got the Moana Journey of Water.
Yeah,
they've got Nemo. He's got a ride.
Yeah. That is really strange.
It really is.
Wally's coming.
We figured.
The new Spaceship Earth is going to be Wally.
My brother would quit Epcot.
Never again. Experimental prototype community of yesterday. Okay, do you have another one?
I have a lot more.
Me too.
Okay. On the kind of same vein as what we were talking about with the fast passes and stuff.
Yes.
I still want later hours.
Oh yeah. Oh, that's one of mine. First, I specifically said I want Animal Kingdom to be open later.
For real. And but really all of them. Disneyland is open until like midnight on a regular basis. I was talking about this to my mom on the phone today because I was telling her you can actually do a little bit more in Disneyland, not just because they've got less parks, but because they're open later.
Yeah.
That you get an extra 3 hours.
I saw somebody tweet, oh gosh, I wish I knew who, but somebody tweeted or posted something that said, why does Disney World have the hours of like a grocery store?
I know.
And that's so true.
Hilarious.
It is the most visited whatever.
Yeah.
And look at the hours. Sometimes Magic Kingdom, if there's a special event in Magic Kingdom.
Yeah.
First of all, that's like hardly a day at all. But even the regular operating hours of something, I mean, I know they stay open till 11 on Saturdays or whatever.
If it's like Christmas and that's their non. But why even then? I want to know why, like if Magic Kingdom is closing at 6, shouldn't at least those days you push the rest of the park hours back?
Yeah.
For the people that aren't going to the party that night.
Yeah.
You shouldn't be punishing them. They might be going to the party another night. You know what I mean? I don't get it at all.
Stop punishing them.
I said to my mom that it seems like maybe they've got a different business manager for Disney World versus Disneyland. And Disneyland,
they have different presidents.
Yes, feels like they're getting more out of being open later, and Disney World is like, well, we don't pay 3 hours worth of staff or whatever. That cannot. I can't imagine.
Run the numbers.
Run the numbers.
Run the numbers.
I don't believe that. I would have to. I just don't believe it. I also personally think Animal Kingdom's better at night.
Yeah. Also, there's so much in Animal Kingdom that is designed to come alive at night.
Yes.
And it hardly even gets to happen.
Yeah,
now.
and I'm not saying keep Animal Kingdom open till midnight. If there needs to be a certain amount of hours that you want to let the animals sleep, I get that. But 9 is what it used to be, and that would be fine.
Close at 7
Sunset,
or 8
yeah.
or whatever.
Well, it's 6 or 7 recently, yeah.
That's cuckoo bananas.
Right. We were talking to a server at one of the restaurants there at some point in the last year, and he was saying that it's usually light out when he's done and off work. And I'm like, okay. That's so crazy.
Well, I would be hoping to work at Animal Kingdom then. That seems like very comfortable hours.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah, all right.
Don't get me wrong, I know it's hard work. I feel that.
Yeah.
All right. I have on here. I hope that Tiana's Bayou Adventure is a smashing success.
I put smooth opening of Tiana's, but I also want beignets.
Yeah, that was actually part of my when I started to try to go off the walls toward the end of my list. I was like,
Blue sky. You went blue sky.
yeah, I left the earth. I started to think about in an ideal world, what kind of like quick service situation would it be? Changing Pecos Bills into something Tiana.
Yeah, with gumbo and beignets.
I thought you said Dumbo.
No.
I was like, how did he get over here?
Wrong land.
No, wrong land. Yeah, with gumbo, beignets, New Orleans style
Yeah.
cooking.
Jambalaya.
I hardly know it. I like having restaurants that complement attractions.
Me too.
That seems like a really cool idea. I don't know why they don't do it more, and I would love to see that. But definitely beignets.
If nothing else,
at least
beignets.
beignets.
I took
At the
my
old
family
photo spot in Splash Mountain. Just sell beignets out of there.
Yeah, I took my family to Port Orleans to get beignets when they came for Christmas because my brother-in-law just told me for the first time that he's a big fan of beignets, and I was like, we can get those.
Oh yeah,
let's do it.
You know, I still have
They're
never
so good.
tried.
Oh, yes, you have.
No, I haven't. Well, okay, so when we ate at Topolino's, they had a dessert there that had mini beignets.
No, didn't we go? You and I?
We went to Riverside.
Right.
Not French Quarter.
We didn't go over there and then go?
We never went to French Quarter.
Oh,
I've never been to French Quarter.
I owe you a beignet.
Well, we're supposed to finish the review.
All right, we'll do that. It's at Scat Cats, in case you guys didn't know. Scat Cats,
we were
like
gonna
bar.
Take the boat.
Yeah, at Port Orleans French Quarter. And they are phenomenal because they make them to order.
Yeah.
And that's what they would need to do at Tiana's quick serve beignet place or whatever, too.
Yeah.
You can get really good beignets in Disneyland, even pre-Tiana, which it is right now, because they've got a New Orleans square.
Right.
Right. So we have to go to Port Orleans, which is kind of out of the way if you're not staying there.
Yeah. There's really no reason. No
reason for them not to, you mean?
No, I'm saying there's no reason for the average guest, I would say, to go to like Port Orleans.
It would be difficult
unless it was for beignets.
Yeah. Well, it's a gorgeous hotel too. Like,
yeah.
I was saying to them, I think that this would be my number one recommendation of a moderate resort to stay in. That's a hard one, but Port Orleans French Quarter specifically, I actually didn't have a great time at Riverside. But
I remember.
Yeah,
I hate that.
I'm hoping
that's
that
one
was
of those hotel rooms that has a curtain that separates the bathroom and the main room.
I'm hoping that was a fluke. Yeah.
Come on. What year is it? Disney moderate level, and there's a curtain for a door. Oh my gosh, that's embarrassing. Yeah. Okay.
Smooth opening of Tiana's. You said smashing success. I agree.
I know we're trying to keep our expectations low for things, but I'm so excited for Splash Mountain to have a reboot, a new life.
Yeah.
And I just hope it's great. Because I also love that movie. I love the music in that movie.
Yeah.
I'm just so worried.
Oh, don't be worried. They haven't messed up a ride.
They haven't messed up a ride.
I don't love Runaway Railway but I loved its predecessor is the problem, and Splash Mountain needed a refresh. So
yeah.
So this I don't.
Yeah, I hope it's great.
Yeah,
I hope it's.
I know what could go wrong for you though. The screens, if they put in a ton of screens, but this lends itself to animatronics, and we know some animatronics are coming.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I'm glad that they told us ahead of time that there will be animatronics.
Yeah.
Like
I don't mind. Yeah, I don't mind the screens in the Ratatouille ride. That doesn't bother me personally, but I know it bothers you. So I could see how that would be something that would bother you. But we know we're getting some, so don't worry too much.
Yeah. And I don't think it would bother me so much if everything weren't turning into like screen stuff.
I know.
Now I just think it's just screens on screens on screens on screens on screens.
Yeah.
And I like when Disney Imagineering uses all of the tools in the Imagineering toolbox.
Yeah, right. Just, and screens probably will get dated faster because technology is going to keep improving. Where if you see an animatronic, it's still impressive.
Yeah.
Even if it was made in the 70s, like
Right. Because
apart from some squeaking, maybe.
upkeep of a screen can only get you so far.
Right.
Apart from replacing all the screens.
And updating the technology. Yeah.
Right. But like animatronics, put some new skin on there, do some new makeup, put some hair on there.
Yeah. WD-40. You're good.
Yeah. WD-40, you're good to go.
But I think a good blend would be good.
Yeah.
You like Rise of the Resistance, right?
I love Rise of the
Resistance.
Resistance.
And that's a good blend. Don't you
think that's a really, really good blend.
I think that, and I really hope that that's what they start doing going forward.
Because you know what else is great about that ride? Big, beautiful sets and rooms and physical props and effects and stuff.
And then the screens just make you feel like you're in space.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's kind of a background screen. I like that too.
Yeah. It's like extra decoration.
It's not the main focal point.
Right.
Yeah. I like it too.
Yeah. I think it does. It's the perfect ride for that.
All right.
All right.
Oh, how many do you have? One?
I have, well, I have a couple left regular, and then I have some stuff that I hope happens at D23.
Okay. Oh my gosh, yeah. All right. Well, I'm going to go ahead with a regular then.
Oh, okay.
Okay, because I think I've got more regulars. Night Parade. I mean, I don't even need to say...
Yeah, that's on my D23 list. I hope they announce a Night Parade.
Yeah, I talk about this regularly, so I don't even need to go into it. We need a Night Parade.
Yeah.
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 All right.
Yeah. Nothing more to be said.
Yeah.
We grew up on the Main Street Electrical Parade and Spectrum Magic.
Yeah.
So we miss that presence.
Yeah.
Although Main Street at night now is already cuckoo.
Yeah.
You can't even squeeze through there. So wow, I wonder if that's the reason, but it would be nice. I really, really like the night parades.
Yeah. They could... I don't know. You think it's a traffic problem?
I've never really thought about it.
Until just now.
I hope.
Interesting. That's an interesting thought that I hadn't really considered.
Honestly, I would consider that one to be fairly unlikely, unfortunately.
Yeah.
It's on my list because I hope for it.
Why? Disneyland has one.
I don't know. I just feel like the fact that it's been gone for so long and the fact that now...
Well, it was 2016 we had one.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yep.
Because I have pictures.
Wow. I hope it does come back.
Yeah.
Yeah. That would be nice.
Yeah.
Well, the reason I said I felt like it was unlikely was because of what I just thought about, which was how congested that Main Street is all the time now at night because of like the firework.
So I did put something to improve transportation from Magic Kingdom. That's kind of a blue sky thing. Because they would have to add to the Skyliner or something. I don't know. But they need another transportation option. It's a nightmare.
Another monorail track extension. Another monorail station. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, double them.
Money.
Yeah, so it would have to be something, and it would have to be big budget. I don't know what it is. I haven't even really considered
a people mover.
Yeah, well, they've talked about that, right?
I would love to have like a real people mover.
Yeah,
that would be so cool.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind the Skyliner being added on to. You know what I mean? Whatever the solution is, there needs to be something else. It's insane.
Yeah, the options there. It really, that is such an unpleasant experience.
I wonder if the park was open later, if it wouldn't be as bad. Because I'm just saying.
You're so right.
Because people would start wanting to leave at like 9 because they're getting tired, and then but some people would want to stay, and that would keep happening. And maybe it would be a phase out instead of a hard. Okay, it's 9 o'clock. Everybody get out.
That's so.
When that's like maybe bedtime for a child is 9, but that's.
A young child. Not everybody has children that go to bed at 8 o'clock.
Right. So that would be the start of the phase, I think. Yeah, 8 or 9 might be the start of the phase out, with the latest being the people that can stay up till midnight.
Exactly.
Which isn't everybody.
No.
Yeah.
Mostly, like, I would assume, younger people. People without kids, too, probably.
And people that are very, very close, either staying in a hotel, that like a Disney hotel, but not like us even. You know what I mean? We might stay a little bit later than 9, but I probably wouldn't stay till midnight because we'd be driving back till like 2 in the morning.
We've never left later than like 11, I don't think.
Right, but it would help with that 9 o'clock crazy everybody trying to get out of the park at once because the park's closing.
That's wild.
Yeah, how are they not thinking? Okay, I'm not trying to complain.
Oh, you want me to do one?
Yep.
Little Mermaid show.
Oh, well, that's happening.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. I should have put this in the happening thing. I hope it's great.
All right, we're gonna have to turn this into a part 2 or a 2-parter.
We talked too much. Can you believe it?
Can you believe it? We just have too many hopes and dreams. That's a good thing, right?
Yeah, we're full of optimism.
Yeah. After we complained. Okay, sorry about the complaining. It just happens.
Yeah, that wasn't all complaining though. There's a lot that we're looking forward to.
Yeah.
So much that we couldn't even fit it into one episode.
Right.
So check us out next week for the grand finale conclusion of our hopes and dreams for the new year.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you enjoyed the first half of this episode, then you can follow us on Instagram and TikTok at Neverland Navco.
Yep. You can also find us on Etsy at Neverland Navigation. There's not a lot to browse there. We do more of custom work. So if you want a custom Disney shirt, just send us a message and tell us like what your favorite ride is or your favorite character. We'll send you ideas and we'll work out a really awesome shirt for you.
Yeah, and they're soft, high quality custom t-shirts. And you can visit us as well. First of all, if you'd like to see the visual version of the podcast, then you can visit our YouTube channel, Neverland Navigation Co., where every week we post the full video version of the podcast for your listening and viewing pleasure.
Yeah. And if you are watching us, if you'd like to like and subscribe, we'd super appreciate it.
Yeah, that would be awesome. And if you're on a listening platform like Apple Podcasts or Spotify, it would be awesome if you felt so inclined to leave us a review. If you've enjoyed your listening experience so far and you want to share your thoughts, then we love hearing from you.
Yeah. Those warm our heart.
Oh, yes. In these cold January months. Yes, it's good. But until then, we'll see you at part 2. And we'll see you on our next adventure. Goodbye.
Bye.